This is All India Radio. Welcome to Science Serial. Life must go on. All India Radio, in collaboration with Vigyan-Prasar, presents Science Serial Life Must Go On, based on understanding and managing sustainable development. Episode number 1st, titled Curtain Raiser.
It's a pleasure to be with old friends. There's Dr. R. Gopichandran, Director Vigyan-Prasar, Senior Scientist Vigyan-Prasar, Mr. V.K. Tyagi. We're also joined by Mr. Anand Sharma, who's Regional Coordinator, Agromet Division, Indian Meteorological Department. And of course, there's Professor Chandan Ghosh, who's Head Geohazard and Risk Management Division, National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio. And I hope you'll agree with me that life must go on, life has to go on, and life should go on. Now, this is the title of our next serial, which we are about to launch, about to embark upon. This particular serial is based on the subject of the oft-heard term, sustainable development. Now, many of us have heard a lot about sustainable development. Everyone knows the term. You ask anyone the definition of sustainable development or what actually is meant by it, you know what the answer is. So we've come together to discuss this particular theme in connection with our new program, Life Must Go On. And to begin with, may I ask you, Dr. R. Gopichandran, what exactly is, even I would like to know, what is sustainable development?
On behalf of Vigyan-Prasar, let me start by saying that we are grateful to All India Radio and to the wonderful team that is present here for deliberating on this very, very important aspect. Thank you, Manoj, for asking this very important question. Life, as you very rightly said, must go on. And it is not as if life will not go on. You know, it is the beauty of nature, which is very, very resilient. We as humans have to understand and practice values of equity and justice while extracting, using our resources and while discarding our wastes without really creating an extra pressure on nature and systems of nature. I would like to tweak this into what is called sustaining development. It is not as if we are going to debate on what is sustainable development and how should it be done. I've got three very important aspects to place before all of us here today. Number one is the aspiration to develop is present in all communities. Every community should respect the aspiration of a neighboring community. This is the essence of coming together. Now, in that process of respecting, it is absolutely essential to make sure that we do something very interesting and important. We have so far been talking of what is called the footprint. Sustainable development goals talk of what is called the handprint. It is about the impact of our corrective actions. And therefore, this serial, and I must give credit to my wonderful colleagues in Vigyan-Prasar, led by Shri B.K. Tyagi, to connect this concept of sustainable development or sustaining development with facets of life, of water, of energy, of agriculture, of tackling disasters, of an urban environment or of a natural environment, just to prove one single point. And that takes me to the final one. That one point is to say science is cross-cutting. Our ability to understand and practice a handprint that mitigates and helps adapt is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Therefore, we move from footprint to handprint. This concept evolved close to about 8 to 10 years ago, in the field of environmental education from within India. And now, this is a wonderful opportunity for us to deliberate. And the third and the final point is, it is not as if our people do not know about sustainable development. Indian society is probably one of the most resilient ones. And am I wrong in saying that we know how to respect nature?
No, not at all. I think.
Which therefore means when we speak with our fellow citizens in our country, we should invite their attention to this concept by saying, look, you have come from a system that has taught you sustainability. Now please relate it to a larger scale of what is required at the national level, regional and the global level.
That was the essence of the topic in the quintessential Gopichandran style. And moving on to Mr. B.K. Tyagi now, I would like you to throw some light on the whats and hows of the entire project that we are about to embark on.
Okay, I think what Gopiji is saying, I'm just taking it to the next. Like UNO, we have taken up this 17 goals, Sustainable Development Goal. And India is also like a signatory or part of that sustainable goal. And our Niti Aayog has already, given a very big blue plan, how the ministries and different department has to play a role. We in Vigyan-Prasar is into communication, science communication, and the success of these, for achieving these goals, it's necessary that the people should be engaged in that process of what the government is planning to do. Without their involvement, I think it will be very difficult to achieve the success. And for that thing, for engaging them in a very positive way or in a very meaningful way, it is necessary that we should all should be mentally at a one platform. We should understand what sustainable development is, what we are supposed to do, what are our footprints, and what should be our handprints. So for that it is necessary some of those fundamental things, knowing the state of art, what it is already existing, and what it ought to be in terms of achieving those goals, to ensure that engagement and to ensure that participation of all people from all walks of life is one of the objective of this radio serial. And we have focused mainly on children, which are the future citizens of our country, mainly on them, but it is again to involve everybody, every person in the society, because if something is happening in terms of when we talk about sustainable development, whether it is our economic development or social development or environmental development, it bound to affect all of us, whether irrespective of age, our profession, or our economic or social class. So it's necessary that all should be engaged in that process of achieving those goals. And before that, we should have that minimum understanding of those basic concepts which involve the fundamentals of science also. So this serial is an attempt towards engaging people in achieving this sustainable development goal.
Anandji, you're the regional coordinator in the Agromet division of the IMD. One very simple question. One gets to hear about natural resource management. How is this term connected with the entire gamut of sustainable development that we are discussing here?
See, we have limited resources on this planet, but we have an unlimited appetite. That's creating a problem.
You mean consumption patterns?
Consumption pattern. Naturally, limited resources, whether it may be water or, any of the agriculture producers, forests produce, air. These are all natural resources. They are limited. But as the population is increasing and appetite is increasing, there is no limit, to consumption. We are consuming more and more. So consumption has reached such a level that it is not sustainable now because it is creating more problem to the environment. That is one aspect. Second thing is natural resources. When we say, it takes into account water, air, soil, even ice. These are all. So how humans are impacting this? Whether you see right from the beginning when we are hunter-gatherer society, which started with the hunting and gathering, and then they moved to shifting agriculture. So there you see shifting agriculture, they used to slash and burn, and they used to produce crops. And over the period, the production came down, they shifted to a new place, and then again slash and burn. That is how. And when they used to come back to the original place, again there used to be forest. So that time it was sustainable. But as the population increased, entire system became unsustainable. Then people moved from this slash and burn agriculture to the modern agriculture. And modern agriculture, again, it is maybe economically it is stronger. That means you get more money out of it. But when we see ecology part of that, it is not ecologically sustainable. Because in a modern agriculture system, 30 units of petrol like kind of thing goes in as an input and output is 1 unit. But if you see a traditional agriculture system which is practiced by the traditional societies, everything is human energy. So if you put 1 unit of energy as human energy as input, output is something like 20 to 30 units. So that kind of system is ecologically as well as economically sustainable. But modern agriculture is not sustainable, and not only that, modern agriculture has created many problems.
Sorry, Manoj, I want to ask one very natural query.
Right.
You want to say that we should go back to those traditional agriculture system, but then how we are going to feed so many people?
Yes. See, that is what we have to strike a balance. That means, that's why people again moving to organic agriculture. That's what the earlier people, traditional societies was practicing. And we have realized with more fertilizer, chemicals, and this is also creating problems of cancer and other kinds of problems. And even water bodies are also polluted. So now issue comes, modern agriculture, productivity is high. And organic culture productivity
but at what cost?
Yeah, but at what cost? That's a question. Taste is not so good. You must have heard people saying earlier everything vegetable, be it vegetable or whatever it is, it used to be very tasty.
Desi variety,
Desi varieties,
yes, generally used here. Desi variety.
Right. So now we have to see, we can strengthen these traditional agriculture systems, or we have to strengthen the organic system. That means so that productivity, if not at that level, little lower also will do. So how we can do it? That if you see the olden system, it has recycling of things. You had animals, from there you used to get cow dung. That cow dung and then whatever leaves, etc. used to be there. They used to recycle, compost it, and the same thing used to go to your farm. So the system had a recycling mechanism. So that somehow, as the modern agriculture, came the tractors. So this animals, people start using them. So even the cow dung part also reduced. So that's how the system got disturbed. But I think we have to have a sustainable development. The entire thing, recycling, like agroforestry. Again, what is happening is that you have agriculture as well as forest or trees. These trees, are placed in such a manner that they do not, they allow the light to go to the lower crops. And at the same time, their roots are at a lower level, so they don't compete with the crop for water and nutrients. So it is sustainable again. So that's what agroforestry system. These are all traditional practices, which again people are reviving them. So this is one.
Okay, quickly, Professor Ghosh, want a brief answer from you. If I may call it the fourth pillar, disasters. Of course, we can't do much about natural disasters, but there are certain man-made disasters whose impact can be mitigated, so to say. How do you look at disasters in the entire realm of sustainable development that we've been discussing?
Yeah, very nicely this discussion that continued. Disaster is a new term that is known to us for the last 1 decade or so. And also before 1 decade or 1.5 decade, we used to say that most of the disasters are created by nature. But over the years, what we are seeing that there is nothing like nature made. It is the people, it is all the way that we are sustaining our life in an unsustainable manner, the kind of infrastructure that we are making to make our life more speedier, more technologically elegant, and so many things. So when we are competing in that direction, then we are forgetting that the nature which is there, we are taking everything from the nature. Only in the advent of industry, manufacturing, factory and all these things, we are manufacturing something artificially, which is coming up as a burden to us. And as far as disaster is concerned, in our country, we are getting it more familiar as and when things are happening, whether it is tsunami or Gujarat earthquake or Sikkim earthquake or Kashmir earthquake, or even urban flood, which was not known even a decade back. From 2005 July Mumbai flood onward, we have become familiar with that. And because of the climate anomaly that which is happening, which is whole world is concerned with that, the earth that we are living over here, it is no more a natural, rather we have made it as a boiling point, and we are changing everything for the sake of some kind of benefit. But on the hindsight of that, we are seeing that we are all getting it after harming the natural process. That is why in the disaster domain, number of efforts are going on since Yokohama conference, or even before that, International Decade for Natural Disaster Reduction by UN. After that, Kyoto Protocol, or there are so many, and recently that Sendai framework that has come up, where India is also a signatory, and after that, India government also have taken into account of under that framework what are the strategies to be taken by 2030, so that we can make disaster risk reduction as our mainstream activity, keeping that goal in mind, and where sustainable development goals are all incorporated together. As on date, what India is being taken up, especially with the formation of institutionalization of disaster management in the country, creating National Institute of Disaster Management, where I come from, then National Disaster Management Authority or National Disaster Response Force, which you know that whenever some disaster happens, whether recently we can say Uttarakhand or even Chennai flood, which are all happening, and there you can see the face of army, like in case of Uttarakhand, or even disaster response force, which is a dedicated force, who have been really made active in order to check that after disaster happens, then take care of things that post-disaster. So what is happening in the current context of our goal towards disaster risk reduction is from response or reaction-centric attitude to mitigation and preparedness-centric attitude is developing, preventive. And so that at the same time, sustainable development has taken a center space of taking all this disaster management or disaster mitigation related things in the gamut of making our life more sustainable, more comfortable, taking nature into our center of activity.
Thank you, Professor Ghosh. Tyagiji, this is what we discussed about the subject as such. Yeah. Coming on to more specific things, I'm referring to the program Life Must Go On that we are about to begin. Tell us something about the structure that you have in mind.
Okay, it's actually, we had a meeting in Bangalore where all the important stakeholders, subject experts, then the people who are involved in the making of this program in all the languages. You may be knowing that this program will be produced in 19 languages, including Hindi and English. Hindi-English is being broadcast from 4th June. And the title in Hindi is like if we have the Life Must Go On in English, Hindi we are calling it Chalti Rahe Zindagi.
Wonderful title.
Yeah. So if we look at the title, that means like life should continue. That, and it will depend on our resources, natural resources, that the in total identity, the Mother Earth. So the way we are consuming the resources of nature, if this trend will continue, I think we'll reach to a point of no return, where these natural resources will be in such a position that the survival of life on this earth will be difficult. Okay, so this is like inspire us to give us. So to have a quality life, what we should do, and sustainable development is like one aspect which will help us to improve the situation. So in this serial, it will be a year-long program, which will be broadcast on Sunday, and we have fragmented it into 5 segments. First is like, because we need to engage the people in this developmental process, they should understand what is the meaning of sustainability. How we were, as Dr. Gopichandran has said, like the concept of sustainability to Indian culture is not new. So how Indian ethos and practices is of sustainable practices were being followed in that. So all those aspects, the technical term, what the UN is saying, what India stand is on this. So just to make familiar about the sustainability, because now sustainability has been a main mantra of all developmental
the buzzword.
planning. Yeah. So first segment is on that basically. Second, we are talking about then the energy, because most of our environmental situation is going to be like worst because of energy, type of energy. The way we are producing it is a carbon based, so which is increasing the CO2 level, global warming, climate change, all is attributed towards this factor. So what are the possible options in terms of like having a sustainable energy for all? Then we are talking about the energy options, and which is more preferable than the one, and how we can conserve those conventional practices. And third is like the ensuring the potable water for all, because this is again related to our environment and health sector. Then the fourth is we are talking about the natural resource management, and the fifth is to ensure our sustainable cities and a safe human settlement. So these are in between. After each segment, we have an interactive session in which we will be inviting an group of experts to answer the queries of listeners. So the effort has been made to make this program more interactive. So our listeners, this is you may pay an attention to my words, that you can also participate in this radio serial by answering a question which will be put up at the end of each episode. Secondly, the segment which we are discussing in the serial, if you have any question or query or curiosity about any aspect of sustainable development, please do write to us. And if your question is selected to be answered by our expert group, I think then you are entitled to get a prize from All India Radio and Vigyan-Prasar. That will be a workbook which will be around 100 and 120 pages, multicolored book, in which you can also contribute about your ideas and thing, and it will be given to all those people, to winners, as well as in each interactive session or episode. I think we'll be having around 50 to 20 letters. So this is like how we have to progress throughout the year.
So I'm sure our listeners have understood what exactly we have planned to do. Quickly, Gopichandranji, on a more philosophical plane, in the last 20 minutes or so, we discussed about the conflict between, development on one side and the sustainable angle on the other. Now, laying stress on sustainable development, will it not also lead to more conflict in terms of conflict with the producer lobby, so to say?
The very concept of sustainable development is supposed to resolve the dilemma. The agenda of sustainability should not be mixed up with the agenda of greed, as was very rightly pointed out by Dr. Sharma. Even if I have to produce in an intelligent, efficient manner, why will I not succeed economically? Therefore, the dilemma is not between development and sustainability. The dilemma is between how well do I sustain the interests of my agenda with the interests and abilities of nature.
If this were so simple to understand, the need to stress on sustainable development would not have arisen.
It is not as if people do not know about it, which is precisely what I started with. This is a window of opportunity for people who wish to bring equilibrium to come together and consolidate their efforts. It is not as if we are moving towards a huge disaster. It's not so. Then there will be no peace on earth. Sustainability would have gone long time ago. These are all only forewarnings to say, look, if we do not develop this culture of sustainability, we would end up in a mess. Therefore, this is a platform of convergence and not of divergence.
I am saying, like, suppose if because of my greed I have made a lot of money, but the condition of my environment, my society is so bad, do you think then how long, even despite having all that access to that resources, I will survive? My quality of life will also become, very bad. So even if I am a producer, I have to be part of this concept of sustainability. I have to change my mindset. I have to change my style of production, my planning, my everything, because if I have to secure my future as well. So this is the whole idea. That's why, like, engaging people, whether you are a producer or consumer, irrespective of that, I think we all should understand and participate in this so-called the movement of sustainability.
Okay, we've come to the concluding phase of this particular episode of the program Life Must Go On, the initial episode. Quickly, in less than a minute, I would like you to comment on the response and the impact on the earlier serial that we did together, Lest We Lose.
That was on you can say it was just a sub part of this serial, which was on disaster management, managing disasters. I think the response was tremendous in terms of the letter we received, the queries we received, and that still we keep on getting the letters, because this was again an issue in which irrespective of again age and your social and economic status, everybody was interested in that. So especially in Hindi and English speaking area, we have received so many letters. Majority of them were of appreciating the program because in terms of highlighting and bringing very new fact in a very interesting way, because it was in a docudrama format. So to me, it was a very satisfying in terms of when we see the outcome in terms of awareness, and we are also trying to study those letters in terms of the impact assessment, if we can do something out of that in terms of impact which it has made.
Okay, let's hope this particular serial, Life Must Go On, also gets a, if I may say so, sustainable response, and which results in a sustainable impact. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Life Must Go On. You were listening to the first episode of this science serial produced by All India Radio in collaboration with Vigyan-Prasar, titled Curtain Raiser. Coordinators Dr. P. Gopichandran and Dr. B.K. Tyagi. Presented by Shri Dilip Jha. Recording and mixing Neha Tuck. Participants expert were Professor Chandan Ghosh, National Institute of Disaster Management; Dr. Anand Sharma from Indian Meteorological Department; Dr. R. Gopichandran and Shri Virendra Kumar Tyagi from Vigyan-Prasar. Manoj Menkar were moderating the discussion. Hey listeners, please stay with us. Here are 2 questions for you. The lucky winner will get attractive prize from Vigyan-Prasar. The first question is, 1. What is the sustainable developments? And second question is, 2. What are the reasons behind concept of sustainable development? You can send your answers by simple post. Our address is Science Serial, Life Must Go On, All India Radio, room number 615, New Broadcasting House, Sansad Marg, New Delhi 110001. You can also write on our email ID, radio@vigyanprasar.gov.in. Please do write or mail us your full name, age, and profession. If associated with Science Club, do let us know the membership of your club. If you have any query or question, don't hesitate to write to us. We will be back again with the next episode of this science serial, Life Must Go On. Same day, same time next week. Till then, goodbye.